So if you're considering picking up one of Valve's Steam Deck, you might want to hear about these 5 things that I've got to talk about. So I've had the Steam Deck for, I'll say, about a month and coming up on a month and a half now. But in that time frame, there's a few things that I've noticed. All right, let's go over these 5 things that you guys might want to know about before you pick up a Steam Deck. So the first thing you might want to know before you pick up a Steam Deck is that there's 3 different models that you can pick from. So these 3 different models do not differ by that much when it comes to performance. The main difference, at least when it comes to performance, is in the internal storage type. So the base model uses a 64 gigabyte eMMC internal storage type, which is the slowest of all 3. The second one uses a 256 gigabyte NVMe SSD storage, so it's faster than the first one. And the last one, which is the same one that I've got, uses a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD storage as well, just like the second one. But apparently Valve is saying that it's the fastest storage, so it's faster than the second one. I can't confirm that or deny it, so I can't tell you guys that one is better than the other one. All 3 models also have SD card slots, so you can store as much games as you want, on external storage, and just slide it in and you're off to the races. Yeah, you can play directly off of the SD cards as well. They also differ in prices, as well as some extra perks like carrying cases, as well as virtual keyboards, exclusive Steam community profile, just a bunch of little things that I know most of you guys will probably not care about. Just know that the main thing that differentiates all 3 models is the storage size and the storage type. So if you're trying to save some money, you should definitely go for the base model, and just use external storage like micro SD cards. But if you don't really care and you want the highest and the fastest storage, then go for the highest tier. There's only one reason why I might suggest going for the highest tier over any of the other ones, and that's because of the anti-glare etched screen. So when you're playing with the window behind you, or you're playing outdoors, then you can see the screen better than on the other 2. I can't really compare. I don't really know, how much better it is. Now, the second thing you want to know is that the Steam Deck is a pretty big device. You have to make sure that if you have small hands, you are aware that you're probably going to struggle with, using this, especially if you decide to put a case on. You might even have small hands and not be bothered, by the size of this thing. So I'm just saying it, at this point, because for me personally, I've got more like average size hands. I wouldn't say large or small hands, and it feels comfortable for me. I have no issues with it. So you might not have any issues at all, but if you have very small hands, you might struggle with, using this thing, especially with where the analog sticks are positioned. The fact that it's a pretty big and bulky device also makes it, hard to transport. Like, you'll need to bring a bag around with you, because you can't just throw the thing in your pocket. And if you throw it in your bag, you might just crack the screen or scratch it, if you have other things in there. So you might need to pick up, a bag to throw it in and bring it around with you all the time. It's a big device and not the most portable, for bringing around. The third thing you might want to know is that if you've got a large library of games, on your Steam account, or if you plan on storing a lot of games or playing a lot of games on the device, then you're gonna need to upgrade. You're gonna need to add storage to it. The size that games take, especially AAA games, they take a large amount of storage. Not all of them, depends on the kind of AAA game you're playing. Like Spider-Man, for example, or Assassin's Creed, those kinds of games, they can range from between 70 gigabytes to 100 gigabytes. So that's a lot. If you have the 64 gigabyte model, you might not even be able to store, a lot of games on there. You might have to store, smaller games, games from older generations, or if you're playing using emulators and playing, smaller games like Wii U games and all that, you're not gonna worry too much about storage. But if you plan on storing, AAA games from your Steam account on your device, then you're going to need to upgrade. It was the first thing I had to do once I got past about, I think, six games. Then, I needed an extra storage to store, the rest of my games. But right now, I only just picked up an extra 512 gigabyte micro SD card to add to what I already had on the system, which is a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD. So keep that in mind. You will need an SD card if you plan on either picking up the smallest iteration, or if you plan on storing just a ton of games on the device, having access to them all the time. The next thing you might want to know is that you can use the Steam Deck as a PC as well as a handheld gaming device. Like, for example, if you do like light, photo editing, internet surfing, school, stuff like that. Like, you can connect external devices like keyboards and mouse and use them with the Steam Deck like a PC, or you can even dock it to your external monitor or, a TV of some kind, and then just game on it. You can game directly from this on your TV, or you can use it like a PC, because Linux OS is pretty much, like Windows, so it's pretty close to it. And if you don't like Linux, you can, download Windows on there and use it like a Windows PC. So it's powerful enough to handle some workload, but not the, crazy intensive stuff. If you're doing, a heavy amount of workload on your laptop or your current computer or PC, then no, it can't replace that. But if you're doing, some small light work and you just want something else that can also work as a PC, then this guy is the guy. So the last thing you guys might want to know is that you'll need a power bank with this guy. You will need to pick up a power bank if you plan on playing AAA games, for good amount of hours. Like if you plan on playing for longer than, about an hour and 30 minutes, just go pick up a power bank. You're going to need it with this guy. The battery life is not the best at all. There's a few ways that you can improve the battery life as well. Like for example, you can turn down the brightness, you can limit the frame rate, you can even turn on a whole bunch of power saving options. But most of these things will only decrease, your experience while you're gaming. Like you'll have limited frame rates, for example, which is not better. It's less. You're getting less on the device just to conserve battery power. I like to get the most out of my devices personally, so I'd rather just go ahead and pick up, a power bank with a large amount of capacity, and that way I can play for as long as I want using some pretty, decent settings. 60 frame rates. I want to play at between 40 to 60. That's what I'm looking for. Some other things that you can do if you're worried about the battery life is you can dock it to your TV, or you can just, plug it directly to some kind of charger. Keep it charged, all the time. Just buy like a longer cable, and you can, use it while you're sitting at your couch in your living room for longer periods of time, as opposed to running the battery down. That's it. Those are 5 things you might want to know before you go ahead and pick up one of the Steam Decks. I'm still loving this guy. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. I will see you guys in my next video.